Octanash gets slightly surprised upon noticing that Ethan is still alive after getting attacked. She looks at his expression, full of anger, and knows that someone who just got his heart pierced wouldn't have that face. Octanash tries to make sense of it. She thinks that probably Ethan knew she was aiming for Arium, but he just stepped in without trying to defend himself, as if avoiding dealing any kind of damage. The female boss still doesn't get it. He could easily counterattack from that distance with the strength he possesses. His attitude infuriates Octanash, and she starts charging pink electricity through her body, still with her arm piercing Ethan's chest. She releases all that energy over Ethan, who can't avoid screaming from the pain. He ends up completely scorched, to the point of coughing smoke out of his body. Ethan was more shocked by the fact his plan wasn't working out than by the physical damage caused by Octanash. For a while, he thought his memories about the game would be useful in the real world, but even he lacked enough experience in this in-game universe. In the game, using an ability was pretty easy. One only had to think about it. But in reality, some abilities required a deep understanding before being usable. La Santa Maria was one of those abilities, and using it right after obtaining it was like a baby trying to solve a complicated math problem. Octanash is still amazed by Ethan. He got pierced, burned, but he's still breathing. She decides that if she can't kill him, then she'll turn him into her slave. In that position, Ethan was really doing his best to avoid destroying the dungeon boss. Even if Arium managed to deal most of the damage, and Ethan only 1 point of damage to the boss, the requirement for the secret reward would be unfulfilled, and they would lose the opportunity to get Arium cured. Ethan knew from the beginning that restraining would be incredibly hard, and now the only thing on his mind is that he wants to make takoyaki out of the dungeon boss. Arium watches the scene from afar, seeing all the pain Ethan is enduring. Fear overtakes her. She has no idea how she would be able to defeat such a monster. Even if she knew how to activate her skills at will, she is unsure if she could slay a powerful creature by herself. Octanash commends Ethan for his resilience, and that's why she's so eager to turn him into one of her servants. The dungeon boss starts summoning a small replica of herself, creating a little octopus with translucent skin. She drops it over Ethan's face in order for it to enter his brain as a parasite. Octanash reveals that the little octopus will start secreting mana inside his brain to mind control him. She even adds that the monsters he fought before were actually mermaids affected by the same kind of parasite. Ethan feels disgusted by the movements of the parasite, thinking that the bewitched status is one of the most difficult ones to cure. The situation gets even worse when he feels the parasite entering through his nose and heading towards his brain, where it finally implants itself. Ethan yells in agony while a status window informs that he has been affected by the skill Bewitching Tentacles. Octanash finally drops Ethan's bewitched body, while Arium watches, completely terrified. The dungeon boss's ability makes strange bubbles emerge from Ethan's face, turning him into an egg. Inside, he starts morphing into a chimera. Arium dashes forward and aims her sword directly at the boss's neck, but Octanash remains stoic, using her tail to send Arium flying backward. The impact is so strong that she ends up crashing into the other side of the room, landing completely defeated and full of wounds. Suddenly, the boss steps on her, asking if she's scared of her because Octanash still senses the will to keep fighting in her eyes. Octanash summons another parasite and drops it on Arium's face. The little replica tries to access through Arium's mouth as the boss watches in delight, but it suddenly explodes, revealing that Arium managed to bite it before it entered completely. With confidence in her eyes, Arium mocks the boss, saying that her parasite tasted horrible. Upon seeing her daring attitude, Octanash decides to give her a slow and painful death. She summons a different replica, which looks like a lava creature. It grows much larger, and the boss calls it Octobomb, an explosive creature that reacts according to the fear of its victim. The more fear she feels, the quicker it will explode. Arium can't help but shake, wondering how her situation got to that point. She wonders if she really used to protect Ethan from harm as he previously told her. She is completely aware that she's a coward, but the memories of Ethan resurface. He woke her up, stirring up her feeling of loneliness. She remembers the last thing he told her before entering the boss chamber, to never give up until it's really all over, because he'll be with her and will definitely save her. Arium's courage starts burning. She doesn't want to give up again and wants to know what happened between them in the past. She definitely wants to know how she lived her life, and to do so, she only needed to get rid of the Octobomb in front of her. She grabbed her sword and used her Pioneer Slash, cutting the fuse of the octopus. She finally starts understanding how to activate her skills and proceeds to slice the Octobomb into several pieces before launching again at the boss. However, Octanash doesn't have a trace of worry. She says that the fuse was just a decoration and that she can actually detonate the bomb at any moment. Upon finishing, the Octobomb produces a devastating explosion, scorching Ariam's body completely. Octanash bursts out laughing, mocking her, saying that she would have lived longer if she hadn't decided to cut the fuse. Suddenly, the egg where Ethan was trapped starts twitching. The boss gets surprised. She wasn't expecting the morphing to finish so quickly. Ethan's arm cracks out of the egg and immediately his voice resonates through the room, commending Ariam. Octanash gets perplexed, not understanding how the bewitchment got broken. Ariam lays on the ground, defeated, but Ethan tells her that he'll carry her from that point. Ethan summons the resurrection spell, surprising Octanash, who wasn't aware that he was a healer. A green glow falls over Ariam as 3 angels descend from heaven for her aid. One of the angels taps Ariam, activating the heavenly touch that graces her body, removing every trace of burns and restoring her health to 100%. The 3 angels lift Ariam from the ground, granting her a temporary boost in her stats as a final gift before vanishing. Ariam stands once more, facing Octanash yet again. Ethan emerges fully from the egg, with the parasite on his head as if it were a pet, saying that the only thing she needs to know is that Ariam will make octopus sashimi out of her. Ariam is beyond surprised that her body doesn't have a single wound and asks how he did that. Ethan simply answers that it was all thanks to her courage. While Ethan was still morphing inside the egg, he received enough XP to level up. Upon leveling up, Ethan was able to break free from the bewitchment thanks to his jobless class perk called All I Have Is My Body. With it, he's cured from any status condition upon leveling. Additionally, his jobless class passive skill called Part-Timer got activated. With it, he can choose a new class every time he levels up, needing only to fulfill its mission. Otherwise, he'll lose the class and receive a harsh penalty. But if he succeeds, he'll permanently learn one skill from that profession as severance pay. The reason he gained enough experience to level up was thanks to Ariam slaying the Octobomb. Otherwise, both of them would have been doomed. Ethan took the opportunity to choose the best profession for the current situation, a priest. Octanash's gaze is filled with fury upon seeing that Ethan is still far from dead. She jumps upward and yells to her remaining servants to awaken as magic runes are released from her body. The remaining eggs in the room begin to crack, and from them, the Navy of the Deep Sea appears, a group of fearsome aquatic creatures with glowing runes over their bodies, all under Octanash's command. Ariam can't believe what she's seeing, but Ethan draws a big smile, excited to have finally reached the final phase of the boss. Ethan tells Ariam that now she has to slaughter them all single-handedly, though she doesn't know how she's supposed to do that. Ethan dismisses her concerns. After all, he's there to support her. His jobless class moment to shine arrives, indicating that his part-time is beginning. Ethan starts emitting green light, his appearance shifting into that of a powerful priest with wings and even a nun as his guardian. He demands everyone to bow before the presence of the hardcore leveling acolyte. He tells Ariam to get ready because he's about to bombard her with numerous buffs. With a maniacal smile, he starts casting his magic, imbuing Ariam with an intense green aura as she looks amazed by all the buffs she's receiving. But after a while, she notices that Ethan is buffing her a bit too much. She asks him to wait, but the buffs don't stop, to the point that Ariam starts feeling nauseous and begs him to stop. A message window appears, indicating that Ariam's status has turned into overdosed. She'll lose 1% of her life every second, with a 44% chance of going into a frenzied state. But all the buffs will remain. Ariam's body is trapped in a powerful beam of green light cast by Ethan, who finally decides that she's pumped up enough. Octanash screams in fury, sending all her creatures to slay her enemies. Still wearing a maniac expression, Ethan asks Ariam how she's feeling, wondering if now she feels capable of defeating the monster by herself, to which she confidently replies that she's 100% ready. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.